Hey everybody, this is the Cheshire Cast. I'm your host Corey,
and I'm your host Trisha.
Yes, we are hosts.
We are.
Yes, I've learned one thing over the last couple of years, year and a half, that we're hosts. And,
we're hosts. We host a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey Jim, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I was just closing the door.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
I'm still here. I'm with you.
How are you, Trisha?
Good.
That's it.
I'm good. I'm well.
You recognize that this is like a talk show.
Yeah. Sorry. Times are strange.
Like,
yeah. So,
I need more to go on than good.
Okay, day 47 for me in our quarantine conversations. Things are getting a little weird, but I did venture out yesterday for the first time to a store.
How was that?
I went to Costco. It was surreal and necessary, and I just wanted to make sure I had some meat in my freezer because it's getting weird. And they had no poultry, which was strange. And one of my kids only eats chicken breast, so we're gonna have to find other protein sources for him.
Yep. Yeah,
but that's okay.
I'm kind of glad I went vegan in January.
Perfect timing. Yeah,
but I'll tell you what, this quarantine has certainly helped me discover the vast array of vegan-based snacks.
Hunger will do that to you.
Yeah, there's a lot of snacks, so I don't know that I've lost any weight. I'm gonna adjust my hat because I'm putting a shadow on my face.
No one wants a shadow, Corey.
Yeah, I mean this.
Now you should put the sticker right there.
Right. How about right here?
No.
Right,
here.
Just cover the whole thing.
Don't do it. I'm not. We're not going there. No face covering jokes.
Well, this face needs covering.
See, there we go.
You know, you made me move my microphone because, you know, we've been getting feedback from our YouTube videos. So you're saying, you know, people want to see you. So here, now you're going to want me to put the mic back.
three separate people personally. Why does Corey cover his face with a microphone? I'm like, I don't know if he's doing it on purpose or he just doesn't care. Well, look at the feedback, direct feedback. It worked that quickly.
Yeah. I mean,
it's very strange being on YouTube, Corey.
It's fine. It's fine. I have no trouble with it whatsoever.
Okay.
So yeah. With this quarantine, we here at the Nash household have learned how to bake bread. So now we've got
fresh baked bread is stellar.
Yeah. So we've got a multitude of different flavors, and we're trying different experiments and stuff. And
do you have a machine, or do you just use pan and oven?
Yeah, we have a couple machines. They're called left hand and right hand. We're doing it old fashioned.
Truly manual labor.
100%.
That's such a nerd joke. Right? That's a nerd thing to say.
It's fine. We got the garden going. I've got some lettuce planted. I've got some beans out there.
You already put it in the ground?
Yeah, there's cold
is it
weather.
Time?
There's cold weather plants that'll sustain.
Okay.
You know, that'll be okay, like the peas and stuff.
All right.
I'm considering maybe trying to do some corn. I don't know. We'll see. I've patched a bunch of the grass with new grass seed, and it's growing.
Yard work.
I'm planting hostas all over the place. I have hostas everywhere now. My whole yard's just going to be hostas because they're
kind of easy. They're really easy. You can't kill them off, and they'll come back every year. They're so reliable.
It's
they're kind of pretty.
Kinda.
They will. Kinda. Like they go through stages.
They do, but you know, I'm trying to do all these things to pretty up the yard, and I made the joke on Facebook the other day that I think the majority of our population is going to have gorgeous yards this year.
I agree with you. I thought you were totally on point with that.
Yeah.
That the day you said that, I actually had blisters from thatching. So I was so there with you. I was like, he's not lying.
I saw that post, Corey, and I said that I'm going to try and do everything I can to put that off, still put that off no matter what.
All right.
Only on the nice days.
Doing the yard's the last thing I want to do ever. So
it makes you get outside.
It's not everybody's favorite thing. Trish, have you learned any new skills?
New?
Yes.
I just replaced 2 faucets today, but that's not a new skill. No.
So you've not learned, you've not taken this opportunity to teach yourself something new?
I haven't.
Oh man.
I've been doing a lot of video games. It's not even a new video game, so I can't even take that. I did some plumbing and some gardening. New distance learning has been new. We had a tragedy today and found out that for the entire distance learning portion of social studies and science, my son, handing in his work, hasn't been registering to the teacher.
Awesome.
So we were Google meeting with one of his teachers today, and the teacher's like, it's blank. And I have it up on my screen, and I'm reading the answer that my son wrote. And he's like, I don't have him having done any work. And I'm like, I have it all. I've done a few of these assignments with him. I don't know what to tell you. So that's a huge glitch. So we're learning new technology.
Well, hopefully we'll get that fixed soon.
Yeah, a lot of emails were sent around. So he's one of 2 in his entire class that it happened to. So we'll hopefully get it fixed because it's a lot of work.
Well, in the category of new things, Trisha? I'm here. In the category,
I give you my what face, like what?
Well, you're supposed to say it. That's because it's a talk show. In the category of new things, Trisha.
Yes, Corey.
There is a new nonprofit in town.
There is.
That's why we have Fiona Pearson and Jim Jinks with us today.
And it goes along with the gardening because it's about a sustainable Cheshire.
Really? What's their nonprofit called, Trisha?
It's a coalition.
Yeah.
For a sustainable Cheshire.
Awesome. And Fiona Pearson is the executive director, and Mr. Jim Jinks is the treasurer, correct?
Yep.
You got that all
That's
right?
True.
Awesome.
Yep.
And I think this is Jim Jinks' 4th time on the podcast. He's becoming a regular. And this is Fiona's first official appearance on the podcast, but second time on the show. Yeah, she. If you've listened to all our episodes, you remember meeting her when we did our political series, when she was running for town council. Correct? Right? It wasn't Board of Ed. It was town council.
Yeah. No, town council.
Can I ask a question?
No, you can't talk.
Get a jacket if he goes like 5 times? Does he get like a?
We're thinking about it.
Yes.
We're thinking about possibly a trophy.
Well,
maybe a plaque, a pin, a T-shirt.
If you look off to my left shoulder here, I have this statue, right?
It looks a little phallic. Can you bring it closer so it doesn't? Okay, good.
This is my speak no evil, hear no evil, see no evil statue. But this was made by a 3D printer. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make statues or little trophies of Cheshire Podcast for those guests that exceed half dozen shows and so on.
I don't know if this is Jim. Is this your 4th or 5th?
I think it's 4th.
It's his 4th.
All right. Well, you did the political series too, so 4.5. All right, but so did Grippo. So you guys are tied.
You guys gonna have to
come up with something really. Something really good for the 5th time, I think.
You guys are gonna arm wrestle on the show for the title.
Pudding wrestling. You guys are gonna have to wrestle in a vat of pudding.
No.
I'll do a bike race. We'll do a bike race.
That's not no.
And he's going to do taxes. He'll do taxes and you do bike racing. We'll see who wins.
Right. So tell us about the Coalition for Sustainable Cheshire. Where did this come from? Whose idea was it?
Okay. It started, I first learned about it at least back in November. And I attended a climate change forum up at the Bushnell in Hartford. And one of the sponsors was Sustainable Connecticut. So it just kind of organically kind of started to come together.
As things do, right?
As they do.
Especially when you have
organically with a lot of work.
Right. But I mean, if you have something that is attractive and adds value to the community, people will, naturally be drawn to it. I think that's one of the greatest thing about about Cheshire, honestly, is it's such a community-driven town. There's so many things for people to do to get involved when we aren't subject to staying in our house all day.
And well, it's
global pandemics.
Yeah.
What is the mission of the nonprofit?
The brilliant thing about Sustainable CT encompasses various dimensions. So it's about clean waterways and sustainable plantings and pollinator gardens, but also, like I said, biking. It's about housing. It's about planning and development in a way that will move us forward. It's about well-stewarded land. So what Land Trust is doing. So it's about thriving economies. So I see what's happening right now on West Main is really in line. And when we met with Gary Richards, who graciously offered his space for meetings for us, if we needed it, this kind of broad encompassed vision that focuses on sustainability, thriving economies, and culture. And that's where, one of our more recent is Pat Mottola, who we have been asking that she be considered to be one of Cheshire's first laureates. We don't have a poet laureate, and there are many cities in Connecticut, towns in Connecticut that do have poet laureates. And
so you're gonna have to go into a little bit of explanation of what that is, but your signal keeps bouncing for some reason. It keeps going from good to red. So the name you just gave was what?
Which name?
Pat Mottola.
Pat Mottola?
Pat Mottola, yeah.
Okay. And
she's a poet?
She's a poet, yeah. And I know Pat because she teaches down at Southern Connecticut State. So I've known her through kind of our college circles because my husband teaches down at Southern Connecticut State. And so we get togethers with our faculty from our respective departments and so a number of times.
So that's what happened is I thought it was a bigger word than just poet. I was like, I think she's
no.
a poet
laureate.
Well, that's
Pat
what
Mottola.
That's what
when
I
she
heard.
said Pat Mottola, I thought a Karate Kid.
All right. Well, that's fair too.
Does he live in Cheshire? It was echoing in and out.
I heard.
I was like, what happened? I lost total control of this conversation.
I heard poet laureate. I'm like, what is that? I was like, you're gonna have to tell me what that is.
To concentrate this, Sustainable Cheshire sounds more than just we are starting a recycling program.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the Sustainable Cheshire, it's a national program?
No, state. So it's a state program.
And now county by county, you can ascribe to it, but it sounds like it takes a team.
Yeah.
Town by town, actually.
Town by town. And what you're saying is it encompasses community growth through beautification. I guess recycling would be part of that.
Sustainability, right? It's all about
clean environment, economic. Okay, so it's sustainability. It's not just because when I hear sustainability, I think of like replanting and things like that, but it's not. It's a
cogeneration, all that stuff.
It's an entire web, economic, cultural. Okay, that's huge. That's a huge undertaking. So how does
sustainability is also about community, also about building community, and that's what this this organization. Coalition, as well as the coalition's goal, as well as the larger state program, the goal is to bring communities together. To make a network for that purpose, but also to kind of execute on these small projects across different stakeholders within the community. So it's about building community from the ground up, kind of thing,
and improving quality of life, just improving general quality of life and sustainability. Future.
So one of the things
for our children,
for future generations, not only for us, but sustainable for future generations, better than we have it. One of the huge problems, and you see that right now, because we're living through a stay-at-home order from a global pandemic. One of the most interesting topics I've heard discussed so far is let's take global warming, climate change, that topic, whether it be controversial or not. People have trouble acting on it immediately, and we need to act on it. Part of the sustainability of, not only communities, but the environment. But we have a global pandemic, and immediately we shut down because it's right here in front of our faces. How are you guys going to incorporate and motivate the community to see these goals that could be generational, could be 3 years down the line? How are you going to involve people when, as a human nature and species, things that aren't like a year out, we can cognitive dissonance it away? Yeah. How are you going to grab people?
Yeah, I think, actually, this is an opportunity. I think it's probably easier than ever. People are sitting in their homes, right, and in their neighborhoods and seeing things and noticing things that they haven't noticed before.
Like all the hostas in my yard?
Hostas in your yard, which are awesome. And they're good pollinators.
The bird that won't stop pooping on my car.
Yeah, I was gonna ask if those are good pollinators.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
They're one of the plants. Yeah.
Otherwise, we'd have to go rip those out, Corey.
I would have.
Right away.
People are thinking right now about how much they consume. They're really thinking in a way about going to the grocery store in a way that they didn't before, right?
You're not 15-year-old.
Packaging.
Very careful. You've got a list, and you're very careful about what you have in your pantry. And no. Oh
no, my 15-year-old is he's like, if you put it in the pantry, I'm eating it. I don't care.
I'm really aware of packaging right now because you have to be everything's coming out of the packaging when we come in. It's so much packaging.
Yeah. And so composting. I mean, if you've never thought about compost, maybe now is the time to start a compost in your backyard. If you don't have one, if you have a backyard.
All right, let's talk about composting real quick, okay? I'm gonna interject because I have a funny story about composting.
Uh-oh.
So we're doing all this yard work, everything else. We're working on our garden. We're getting all excited about it. So the idea is let's compost. So I say, Jen is my wife. I say to Jen, we got to get a compost bin for the kitchen. We got to get a compost bin for the backyard. I go on Amazon. I pick out a compost bin for the countertop and a compost bin for the backyard. I send it to her because obviously anybody who's married understands that you have to get some sort of approval from your significant other.
No, a joint agreement.
No, approval, whatever.
6 1, half dozen the other.
So to me, this is a bucket that is going to be on my counter.
Call it what you will.
For food scraps. I don't care what color it is. I don't care what it looks like.
It has to be smell proof too.
Listen, let's not get into the technicals of it, okay? We're getting just the appearance. So she says to me, she goes, I don't like the one you picked out. I'm going to pick one out. Okay, no problem. Whatever you want to get, you get. She comes back to me about 15 minutes later. She goes, do you want it to say compost on it or not? I'm like,
so many options.
Whatever you want. And just like I told this story now on the podcast, which I'm going to get in trouble for. I got in trouble then because I then wasn't participating anymore. And these are the mistakes I make as a husband is I don't participate once I've given my opinion. I don't know, but that's marriage, right? And Jen, I love you.
Well, you just toss the idea up and you're like, okay, do it.
Well, yeah, because I trust her ability to get things done better than me.
And she probably would care more if it was, red instead of blue for the kitchen.
She does.
Yeah.
She does. I was going to get a black one that said Slayer on it. Anyway.
Oh, my husband would approve.
With a big skull on it. And it would go in the compost bin instead of being the compost bin.
If you see up there, Fiona, just above the Cheshire Cast logo, I have Slayer's first.
Oh, okay. You're going to have to talk with my husband, Scott.
Yeah, I have Slayer's first record, Show No Mercy, up there.
Oh.
It's an original pressing.
He wants a mask. That's what he said. He wants a Slayer mask. He was talking about it today. I said, you go, you do you.
Whatever.
Is that a band?
Oh, boy.
Sounds like they play screamy guitars.
That was a little story. That's when I knew that my husband was like to be figured out was when I saw his record collection when we were in college, and it was Slayer next to Little Mermaid. Okay. He likes
is Slayer a Broadway play?
Slayer.
Is it Disney? Slayer doesn't sound like Disney.
It's they're
not quite.
They're a bluegrass band. So
banjos and stuff, harmonica.
Yeah, sure.
So Jim,
I know the S is like that.
So Jim, you're recently a member of the town council, new member.
Yep.
Congratulations. You're doing Bike Cheshire.
Yep.
You're married. You have 2 kids.
4 kids.
Dude, he has a lot of kids. He has a brood.
How come I didn't? Well, I was making a guess. I didn't really know how many kids you had. Why should I pretend I did?
You're close by half.
You have 4 kids. You're gainfully employed. Yes.
Yes. Working? Yeah. Working is very, very busy right now.
So, like me, you said
a lot.
Like me, you said to yourself, "Well, I filled 20 hours in the day. I need to fill the other 4." So you decided to embark on this project also, correct?
Right. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
All right. Well, moving on. So,
everybody needs a hobby. Mine is sleeping.
I do want to respond. One thing to that, Corey, is that first of all, we're all really busy, but one of the things that really drew me to this project. Fiona had talked to me about it kind of early on. Obviously, there's, like she said, there's that sort of, there's a lot of active transportation aspects to the project, or there's potential active transportation projects in here. So there's that part of it, but it's also as running a nonprofit. So this Sustainable CT program allows nonprofits sort of a facilitated way to get a grant. So normally the normal process is you go through kind of a long application process, you submit it, maybe you get something, maybe you don't. This is pretty streamlined. You submit an application, more or less, they say yes, and then they say, so you go and fundraise for a certain amount, and they match that amount. So
nice.
It's a much more kind of streamlined way of a nonprofit to access funds, which is appealing to me as someone who's running a nonprofit, and also as a way to kind of more quickly kind of pull some funds into our community to do these projects.
We can help him pay for some of those things he wants to do with Bike Cheshire. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So you guys would do traffic studies, or as neighborhoods change, how does sustainability figure into like traffic patterns and stuff like that? Or is it just biking? Is it making it more bike friendly?
You're right. Walking, biking, making your town more bike friendly. There's also, if we were to sort of encourage more public transit in somewhere, use of public transit, some kind of project like that, that's part of sustainability. So there's different things like that.
What do you think?
It's also designing streets that are bike friendly, but also walking friendly. Incorporate an element as well. And so Portland, recently, they also registered with Sustainable CT in the last year or so, and they just finished the Complete Streets project, which integrates lanes with walking lanes, but then also planting of trees and native plants. So that aesthetically it's pleasing, but also it's diverting stormwaters and rainwaters in ways that help to keep our waterways clean. So
they completed that project.
All those things. Yeah, holistically.
Portland completed that project just in time for all of us to stay inside.
Right.
And I think, going back to what you were asking before, Trish, I think that's why people may appreciate some of the things that are the action items, some of these action items of Sustainable CT that, we could potentially work towards as a town, because they're walking their neighborhoods in a way that many families have. I don't know about your neighborhood, but I've seen so many more people out and about trying to get outside, get out for a walk with their families. And so I think we're appreciating what we have and realizing what we don't have and what we might want in the future in a way that perhaps pre-pandemic we didn't see.
That is true.
I think a lot of these projects will, they have a sort of immediate benefit. Hello?
Someone grinding coffee?
Somebody.
Wasn't me.
Wasn't me. Okay, Jim, back to you.
Blame Jim.
Yeah, what I was saying was that so these projects are relatively small in scope, and they also have kind of immediate benefits, right? So that's a way to engage people if they have benefits for the community today and into the future.
Yeah. So one of our first, we're just talking right now. So we've been talking just about a rain garden and trying to talk about what rain gardens are, and basically rain garden. We have one up at the Street Fire Station, and Yukon Clear actually came in, a group of students and faculty came in 2 years ago and created a plan for Cheshire of where we could have rain gardens. Basically what rain gardens do is they divert water from permeable surfaces, so on roadways that are covered in salt and pollutants. When we have a big heavy rain, all that water rushes in and then runs into our stormwater and then pollutes the sound in our rivers. And so if we can divert water from into those waterways and the storm drains in the first place, that's better for our environment. So,
would you use plantings as filters, or what is it?
It's so you have to dig a basin, about 6 feet, and fabric and mulch, and then native plantings and then rocks, so that way the water rests rather than going down into the storm drains, and so it rests and drains into the ground, and then the ground naturally fertilizes or revitalizes the
filters. Interesting.
So,
like a man-made marsh, so to speak.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So this group, Yukon Clear, identified some locations on municipal grounds where we could construct rain gardens. And so one is already constructed at the Bryan Street Fire Station. The other fire station identified a place, town hall, all the schools. And so one of our first projects that we're talking about right now is a rain garden by town hall. So that would be highly visible, and we could use it for educational purposes, just to talk about what rain gardens are and how they function.
Make people start thinking about it.
Exactly. Just start thinking about it. I'll be quite honest, and I mentioned this the other day during one of our board meetings. I was walking in my neighborhood, and I saw a kid take a bag of dog poop. He was walking his dog and throw it down the storm drain, and not thinking that that goes down into the sound. That goes into that doesn't go away. That goes.
That's not filtered.
No. So getting people to think and think about rain gardens.
I didn't know that. I thought sewers, growing up in the city, I always thought that the sewers brought it someplace to be processed before
Tricia,
it was somewhere.
I have a follow-up question. With you growing up in New York City and the sewers, did you also think alligators lived there?
I heard tell of it. Don't flush your pets down the toilet.
Not your pets, because the alligators will get them.
No, the rumor has it that somebody had a pet alligator and they flushed it, and the dude grew. Isn't that a movie? Anyway,
it was a movie. Yes.
Storm drains collect water from all of these streets and dump it out into natural waterways. It doesn't go through a processing or filtering of any kind.
No.
Everywhere. That's just a fact. How do I not know that?
More or less.
Okay, so
I don't know. It's
that's good.
I'd love to take the opportunity to actually make fun of you, but this is not that time, because
is that something that's known?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Why would you know?
I feel like that's terrible.
Well, no, I learned all that. I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't think about these things consciously until
people dump oil and stuff down the sewer.
And that's
antifreeze.
That's the thing. That's the thing about the Coalition for Sustainable Cheshire is
education.
There's this educational portion that they're apparently working on, where now you and I know about what the sewers do, where it goes. The people that are listening to the episode will know and maybe think twice about what they put in the sewer. But it's those kinds of things that make the smaller changes in our overall environment. I mean, look at what's happening to the environment now.
It's cumulative, absolutely.
With all of us just staying home. I mean, have you seen the photos of the water in West Haven? Where my entire life, that water has been as black as my baseball hat. I had a friend send me pictures the other day, and the water is, dare I say, clear.
Are a lot of people staying home in Connecticut?
Yeah.
I see
I understand traffic. I understand the highway traffic is down 70% during the week.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
We're seeing the benefit of we're seeing how we can sort of fix the planet in a sense through this quarantine. We're seeing what happens when we slow down a little bit and we take a look at how we're managing things. Where, when you're home 24/7, like we were saying at the onset of the show, where you start to pay attention to how much you're eating, how much you're consuming, your packaging. I mean, my recycling bin is insanely full these days. With I'll say boxes, but really aluminum cans and stuff, and wine bottles and all that stuff.
We fill 2 recycling bins every 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, I think, and what I'm hoping comes out of this quarantine, not only that, people get healthy and we can solve this, COVID-19 crisis, is that maybe, just maybe, in some small way, we will be able to pay a little bit more attention to our environment and the health of it in the overall. Anybody disagree with me?
I hope you're right. I mean, there's bound to be some change, obviously, coming from all this. I don't know. I think we have a habit of going back to our old bad habits, though, pretty quickly when things kind of come back to normal. But
you mean we forget, Jim?
But this is an unprecedented situation, and we're kind of living with this for quite a while. So,
but even when we chest thump and throw flags in the air and we swear we'll never forget, we forget. Is that what you're saying? Because I agree with you.
Not everybody forgets, but enough people do.
Yep.
Yes. I mean, of course, Trisha, not everybody forgets.
Well, some people, it's just a fight to get food on the table right now. It's times are strange, but hopefully coming out of this, things might stay a little bit simpler for the beginning.
Maybe. As
we slowly turn back the wheel. But I saw something in the city this week, which has something directly to do with Sustainable Cheshire. I went to my husband's bubby is turning 100 years old. So we went, I had to bring a care package to somebody, and on the way back, we stopped through her neighborhood where she lives just to wave. But, and she's adorable, and lives on her own, and she's fantastic. But right outside her house, there was this little teeny tiny, like our recycling bin, but shrink it down to like a quarter of the size, maybe smaller. And I don't remember ever seeing any bins like that. It winds up, they are now collecting in the Bronx compost. So you take your compost, if you don't need it for your own yard, your organic matter, whether it be, you name some stuff for compost, eggshells, coffee grinds, banana peels, anything organic. And you can put it in a thing, and then the city comes and picks it up. That would be amazing. And then they make a compost pile, and you can go and get free compost.
Yeah. No,
for your garden. But it's done off premises.
Yeah.
So you're not turning and.
Yeah. No, my mom had back in California. She just left for North Carolina, but when she was in California, they had the waste bin, and the waste bin was the smallest of their bins. They had the recycle bin, which was probably the size of our recycle bins.
That's awesome.
And the compost bin, which was the size of our recycle bins. And people would fill them up regularly with their compost, because it could be lawn trimmings, it could be your twigs, it could be everything from your yard and from your kitchen. You can compost.
Stale fruit. If my kids don't eat the apples, we chuck it in the backyard. Instead, put it in a bin. Now everything just goes in my garden. I'll turn it over eventually, but I just throw eggshells and banana peels and spoiled fruit, and everything just goes in the garden while it's winterizing. But I think imagine how much compost you would have if you could collected it from the entire community.
Yeah, and South Windsor just did that. I posted somewhere about that. They were successful this last fall of starting their composting program. So the town will begin to collect compost, and then they will share it with the communities that they can use it for their gardens, basically. And then if landscapers want to pay for it, they can come in and pay for it.
And you can use compost anywhere. You can use it over mulch, under mulch, instead of mulch, around trees in your garden, just on your lawn. I mean, it's what is it, black gold, right? It's great stuff.
I chuckle a little bit at all this talk of composting and how it's like a new thing for people. We were doing it when I was a kid. My dad had compost piles. Yeah. This was in the 80s, so it's It's not a new thing to me.
The Bronx as a municipality collecting compost, I thought was monumental. I've only been out of the Bronx for 4 or 5 years. They weren't doing it when I left, and now they're actually, everybody has a specific compost bin. What's the word? I was not engaged. I was motivated. I don't know. It just was uplifting. If it can be done there.
I was going to say dating someone.
What?
You said engaged. Never mind. I realized that there's a bunch of jokes that would go over way better if we're in the same room, because it's very hard to cut in to a conversation on Zoom.
I think she was saying she was inspired, Corey.
Yeah, I
was. I was impressed. It was great to see, and not
the joke falls flat. That's fine.
I know. It's all right. Not the first. Won't be the last.
Oh,
it's part of our charm.
It's true.
So composting, you have another thing that I didn't think that you were going to engage in. I didn't understand it was under the purview of a Sustainable Cheshire was economic development in a way. No, as far as gearing communities.
It's a component. And the economic development just is ensuring thriving communities, because a community cannot be sustainable if it's not thriving.
Like how? What way would you intervene or engage or something? I don't know.
I mean, right now, the town actually is doing a lot in terms of the sustainable CT objectives and action items. They're actually already doing a lot of those things. And this is connected to another component of sustainable CT, and this is why I think the town council and the town manager are interested, is that we can register the town for awards. And so if we've attained certain action items, and we've already attained under economic development, we've attained a lot of those. We just have to document them with sustainable CT. And if we attain a number of those action items in all the different 9 areas of sustainable CT, then we can be awarded bronze status or silver status. So there are towns that have been certified and awarded, and we get a fancy statue or trophy for the town hall that we can display.
Like you get when you've been on the show as much as Jim.
What are you doing? Give me. Oh my, sorry.
Like there's some things that the town has done, like the like brownfield cleanup, which is one big project in town. Obviously, is ball and socket. That's a brownfield cleanup. So that's something the town's been engaged in over years. There's also aspects to this as far as
healthcare center,
right?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, there's also like an affordable housing aspect to this. That's something that we can take on, and we have a board member that's really a driving force in the state, actually. So there may be some.
Just joined our board, and so
Sean Gio,
partnership.
There may be something in terms of policy or some other kind of project we could work on with with the groups in town that are interested in more affordable housing, which is also an economic development aspect. So, yeah.
Controversial. You guys are going to do with your share of controversy, but neither of you guys are afraid of that, and I've seen you both engaged in it, so I have faith.
Everything's controversial.
You would think some things weren't. You really would. But apparently it's just not acceptable anymore. It's just not acceptable for for everybody to agree on something anymore.
No, it's not. It's not that it's not acceptable.
Crossing the street in Cheshire is controversial.
Well, yeah, we talked about that, Jim, on one of your episodes with the hawk system.
Hawk system. Jeez. Still a thing.
It's Trisha, it's not that people, can't disagree. It's that they can't politely agree to disagree and then move on and still,
There's some things you just can't agree to disagree on. There's just some things in life that it's such a cop-out to be like, we have to agree to disagree. There's some things in life that I don't know. This isn't the show for that, but environment.
The environment is important. Is
budget, environment. I mean, healthcare. There's a lot of agreed that.
I like breathing.
And as long as you can breathe now, as long as 95% of the population of Earth can breathe now, it's not an issue.
Yeah.
That's just
I like swimming
human nature
not
works.
Getting pricked by a needle. I kind of dig that.
We've I think improved. If there's an arc of, I think awareness is heightened now. I think now's the time people are more aware and engaged in environmental causes and the realities of a possibility of the environment in the future affecting us in a negative way. And we just can't do what we want. I think that, it's a generational thing. And I know in high school, we started really focusing on Earth Day. So that's, almost 30 years of
50 years celebration.
And it's a huge thing. And our kids then now knew it their entire lives. So I think it's engaging and making people culturally, making it part of the culture in a generational way. And I think that's the only way to really approach this.
That being said, what do you guys have planned for the foreseeable future to bring more attention to the Coalition for Sustainable Cheshire, or Connecticut for that matter?
We are in the process right now of just trying to develop and build our membership and our partnership. And so we already have a number of partners. Bike Cheshire obviously is one.
Who's that? Who's Bike Cheshire? Jeez.
Friends of Boulder Knoll joined us. So Friends of Boulder Knoll joined us as a partner. The Quinnipiac Valley Audubon Society. Chris Affey's Buy Nothing Cheshire, because that's all recycle, reuse. St. Peter's Eco Justice Council. And so right now we're in the process of trying to build our partners. And these are just
Ball and Socket should be part of that too.
It would be awesome if they would like to be a partner.
What about
Corey's on the board?
What about the Cheshire Cast? Why couldn't we be a partner?
You could be a partner. You want to be a partner?
Why not?
We have a very small footprint. I mean, we just pollute the airwaves.
It's in terms of the.
You planted the hostas, so you're in there.
I think that's just happened naturally in his yard.
Well, I mean, the reason we're here is to help get the word out, especially for our local nonprofits. I mean, we're willing to partner with everybody, but I mean,
I will send you our partner information, okay? And you can
do that.
We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you.
I feel like your list. We've had some of those.
We've had
people on. I know you. Did you? We've had the Land Trust on. So we've had Boulder Knoll.
I'll talk to the board.
We've had Bike Cheshire.
Ball and Socket for you if you guys want.
Awesome.
Easy. I wish we knew that last week. We just had our board meeting on Monday.
Yeah.
How do you guys find the time? I applaud you. I really do.
Who?
All of you, every single one that I'm looking at on the screen, aside from me, I applaud you all.
Well, it's like TV, right? It's cumulative effect. It's a little bit here, it's a little bit there, and it adds up. It adds up over time. So
yeah,
and it's also all about that diet, Trisha. Remember?
No.
Remember, it's all about how we eat.
No.
I know it's a deep inside joke.
No, it's not.
We had a whole text message conversation.
I don't even know what you're talking about, Corey. The hatred runs deep.
Yeah, it does. It's fine.
I need another brother. Seriously.
I think part of our upcoming Patreon, Trisha, what we got to do is we have to, for those donors that are over like $100 a month, we'll give them access to our private text message thread.
No.
Yes.
Only your side.
No.
My side stays hidden. For $3,000 they can read mine. And knowing that, I'll try to curse a little less.
Well then, I mean, hey, if that's the number, then that's the number.
I'll just call you better names.
and that's what we'll do. If somebody wants to donate that kind of cash, we can put them on our text thred.
Just to see how
so you guys are raising money through Patreon now?
Okay, so you want some Cheshire Cast insider information?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot going on.
Yeah, we got a few minutes left, but I'll talk about us, and then we can finish with you guys because you're the future. But
if you're going to be a member, we want to know what you're doing.
Cheshire, Trish and I have been working very hard on what is the future of the Cheshire Cast, and we've been partnering with a lot of people. I can't tell you who and what yet, but we've got some very positive support, and which has enabled us to start to fully assemble our Patreon and get some merchandise, pint glasses, T-shirts, things like that, just to show your support kind of thing. we've got the website worked out. We're starting to fine tune all our social media aspect and begin
YouTube.
to build YouTube. And we've started to do videos on YouTube. So I've partnered with a video producer who is going to work to help us create a proper video studio. I've partnered with a couple sound engineers who are going to be working to help us build out our sound and our sound, how we sound when we're talking outside of these Zoom meetings. We will be stepping up advertising and, adding more shows to the network. So we're going to be building a Cheshire Cast network of different types of shows. So cool. and that is likely to extend beyond Connecticut. But the shows will be somewhat or mostly community focused, whether they focus on nonprofits or careers or whatever the case.
Politics.
Yes, but they'll be more social and community based. So there's a lot of stuff happening around the show, and 2020 into 2021 will be very, very exciting for our growth. I'm jazzed about it. Trisha's jazzed about it, and I think Cheshire should be very excited for what's coming. And
that sounds great. Sounds great.
Who knew?
Well, and that's where Sustainable CT could actually, we'll talk because with the grant matching fund program, if there's something that you're doing that's, particularly if it's educational, that's in line with the action items, then you can take advantage of the matching grant funding that they provide. And so it's all crowdsourced funding, and then they'll match dollar to dollar whatever you crowdsource.
Yeah, I'm open to any and all ideas, and we'll see what happens. And then I think there's also some conversation about one of your hosts possibly getting involved a little bit more aggressively in politics in the state of Connecticut. But Trisha can talk more about her plans for the future for that.
Not me. I don't know what host you're talking about.
Yeah,
I'm neck deep in distance learning. I'm sorry. I have the Boston Tea Party to go teach in 5 minutes.
Well, that sounds exciting, guys.
Yeah, no,
it is. I love it.
There's so many exciting things in Cheshire, and to close out the show, I think what you guys are doing is awesome, and anything that our community members and our community leaders can do to benefit our community, I'll always champion. I just I don't know what else I could say about that. I think it's great. I like that I have a platform to help you reach some more people you might not normally. And, I'm always here. And I think Trisha will reiterate that, we're here to help. However, if you want me to meet you one morning and, clean the garden with Gary with a shovel, I'm down.
After quarantine or masked, please.
Well, I saw them all working. I went for a walk on the trail. I saw them all working on, I think it was Saturday or Sunday, whatever the nice weekend day, the nice day we had last month was.
Yeah. No, I know they've been out there with masks and they've been 6 feet apart and they've just been very careful.
Tis the season. You got to get out there now. It is. It's quarantine or not, you have, if you run a garden, it's time now. You got to turn it over. You got to start clearing it. You have to. And luckily, it's something that we can do through quarantine because you can keep your distance. And I'm really grateful for certain things that are kind of staying semi-normal during this really strange period of time. I'm glad we're able to do this podcast through technology.
Yeah.
Yep. And now not just a podcast, but the YouTube is kind of doing well. And I don't know if we would have pushed so quickly into the YouTube without needing to film from home. So through this pandemic, there's a lot of detractions from life, but I think also we are adapting and growing. And I think the way, human nature is finding out through this that, we will get through it. And on the other side of it, to be aware of certain aspects of society, like Sustainable Cheshire, where there's things that you can put effort towards that will, make things better and give you something to look forward to. I think all of those things are awesome. And I'm glad that you guys...
We were long overdue for something to kind of bring us back together again, I think. And unfortunately...
Slow us down.
Unfortunately, it's come at an awfully high cost, but it's definitely... I think it's...
We don't even know the
definitely
cost. We have no idea of the scope of the cost yet. It's incredible what we're living through, and it's hopefully once in a lifetime. And
yeah, you got to search for the silver linings, though.
Hopefully, we'll learn. We'll grow. We will.
And there's going to be innovation through this. As morbid as it is, we're going to create innovations. People are now able to use technology that weren't able to before, and someone's going to be able to apply that to a thought they had. And, we just, as a culture, we just need to keep moving forward. And even if we're in our homes and, worried about food and stuff of that nature, now maybe somebody will garden that they weren't thinking of gardening just to make sure that they have, the vegetables that they're going to need. So we're going to get through this okay. By hook or by crook, I suppose.
So,
reset.
What do you guys have to say to, the person that's listening that wants to get involved and wants to participate? I'll give you the few minutes we have left with the show to kind of address that person.
Absolutely, yeah. Contact us. We have an email, just easily, sustainablecheshire@gmail.com. Email us. We're collecting a list of volunteers, but we're also, like I said, rolling out our membership and partnership drive. But even if you just want to be on our list to be contacted when we do start organizing projects and we're needing individuals in the community and you think you may want to be involved. And so we've been slowly collecting that information just with some of our press releases in recent months, but sustainablecheshire@gmail.com. Contact us. Check out our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, follow us. If you like what we're doing, you want to get involved, you have comments, you have feedback, let us know. And we have a website. We're still working on the domain. That's where the membership drive comes in, you all know. And but it's up, it's running. We're keeping our press releases up there. So check us out, follow us.
Jim?
I can't really say anything more than that. That was great. I mean, that's how you get in touch with us. So, but we have, there's going to be a lot of opportunity to participate. We have a lot of ideas, a lot of things we want to do. There's lots of, as a coalition, we have a lot of different things that are going to engage people. So keep up with what we're doing. And there's going to be opportunities for people to, participate as little or as much as they want to, really.
Sounds like you're going to have a lot of different hats. So if somebody's interested in urban development, or if somebody's interested in economic development, or
exactly,
it sounds like, even high schoolers, if you're not sure what you want to do, it sounds like you'll have some place for them to,
we already have some.
Something.
They already have some.
Of course you
involved.
do.
Yeah.
We were just talking with somebody, Michelle Catucci from the high school, and she said this group of kids, they're so involved.
Mm-hmm.
They're so involved in the community. So this just gives a whole other aspect of ways kids can get involved. That's fantastic.
I think good. They do.
Yeah.
Jim.
Yeah.
We did a show with your buddy Pete from Pop's Pizza.
Oh yeah,
we did.
And I think a good fundraiser would be a 1v1 basketball game. Because I think you and Pete are the two tallest guys in town.
He was a pro.
He was.
Well, no,
he said he was 6'11" and now he's 6'9".
Yeah.
I was like, what? Wait, that's tall.
I think a charity fundraiser 1v1 basketball game between the two, Cheshire's two tallest would be hilarious.
Because you're still biking. Does Pete still keep in shape? We don't want any Achilles injuries.
He seems to be in pretty good shape.
Okay, all right.
So
I don't know if anybody wants to see me play basketball. So
I didn't say any. I just like to see you just get decimated by Pete. That would be hilarious.
Just get dunked on. Just.
We could come up with new ways to try to distract Pete, so you can maybe get a point or two.
I think it needs to be fair though, so they need like two smaller people. Like
I think Corey's trying to bait me into this right now.
Yeah.
Well, you guys are both so busy. It's just an idea.
Or it could be, Trisha and I versus Pete and Jim. I'll do it.
I don't know if my heart could take it. There's a lot of social distancing on right now, so no talk of basketball. That's a pipe dream. We've got weeks before that.
Yeah, when it's all over. So anyway.
Yeah.
Trisha?
Yes.
Did you have fun?
Of course. No, this was a pretty heavy episode. I had no idea how many things that Coalition for Sustainable Cheshire entailed. I really thought it was about recycling. I'm not kidding. So I was enlightened.
Well, I'm recycling all of my bottles of Coca-Cola. No.
Beer, booze.
Yeah. Call me out. Why don't you? Fiona, did you have a good time?
I did. Thank you. Thank
Jim?
you both so much.
Thanks for your effort and your commitment to Cheshire.
Jim, did you have fun?
It was all right.
All right.
I'll come back for my 10th visit. Either you really like podcasting or you really like the Cheshire Cast. Maybe a mix of both.
I really, I always enjoy being on, you guys. Trish, you said earlier, you're like, who knew? I knew this the first time I was in there with you guys. You guys got something special going on. So it's always fun to be on.
It's Corey. It's
definitely not.
Oh.
No. No. I need
nothing without you.
Yeah, I need.
It's a team effort. It's team effort. I take it back.
It's definitely a team effort. I definitely need somebody to keep me in line. By myself, forget it. This show would be.
And I need someone to make fun of me constantly about the jokes I don't get. I love that. That's my favorite part.
You do the same thing to me.
I do. I abuse you. So, it's fair.
It's all good. Well, hey guys, what? Go ahead.
That's it. Sorry. I was going to say, well, thank you.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I was going to thank Jim. I thanked Fiona. Jim, thank you for your commitment to Cheshire. It's because of people and groups like you that never cease to amaze me with the amount of energy you guys have to give to your community. And I know you guys are parents in the community and all of that good stuff, but still it benefits everybody. Thank you.
It's rad. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for signing.
Thanks for showing up.
It's the closing of the show is so weird. It's like, yeah, thanks for coming.
The opening too.
Well, thanks for dialing in. Thanks for turning on your computer.
First rodeo either. Six Zoom episodes in. We should have a pattern by now. But by the time we get used to it, we'll be back in studio.
We don't have a pattern for anything. That's the free form of the show is, I think, somewhat what people like. I mean, I have my loose outline, but that's about it. Thank you guys so much for coming in and sharing with us what you guys have going on, how it came about, and what we can expect in the future. Please keep us in the loop. Send me along all of your information, Fiona. I'll read it over with Trisha, and I'm sure we will get involved however we can. Anything else, Trisha?
Nothing. Everybody stay safe.
Okay.
Stay safe, yeah.
So before we sign off, I'm just going to say, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe, or it's subscribe and then click the bell on YouTube. So subscribe and click the bell to be reminded when we have new shows. Mm-hmm. If you're listening to us on audio on iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher or any of your favorite podcast apps, make sure you leave us a 5-star review. It definitely helps us. Check out the Cheshire Cast, or it's CheshireCast.com. The website will be going live soon. Our Patreon information will be there. And
that's big. That's a big step, Corey. Congrats.
Yeah, thank you. Well, it's not live yet, but it should be like in a week or so.
It's very close. I've seen a makeup of it. Mock-up?
Mock-up. Yeah, it's
mock-up?
dope. So So thanks everybody, and now we'll all say goodbye. So I'll say goodbye first, and then just follow me in line, so the screen will show you as you say goodbye. So goodbye.
Bye.
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 There you go.
That wasn't too bad. Bye, guys. Be
Bye.
well.
Bye, guys.
Bye.